You're watching The New Stack Makers, a podcast for people who develop, deploy, and manage at-scale software. For more information and articles about at-scale technologies, please visit thenewstack.io. Now enjoy the show.
Nutanix is a hybrid cloud computing leader, offering organizations a unified software platform for running applications and AI and managing data anywhere. With Nutanix, organizations can simplify operations for traditional and modern applications, freeing them to focus on business goals. Trusted by more than 29,000 customers worldwide, Nutanix helps empower organizations to transform digitally and power hybrid multi-cloud environments consistently, simply, and cost-effectively. Learn more at nutanix.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another On the Road episode of The New Stack Makers. I'm your host, Heather Joslin, Editor-in-Chief of The New Stack, and today we're coming to you from the very lively and noisy Sponsor Solutions floor at KubeCon plus Cloud Native Con North America here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Today we're going to talk about complexity and cloud native. Cloud native as a concept has been around for about 15 years. It really started to gain momentum about a decade ago with the introduction of Kubernetes and other open source technologies. In that time, the phrase has taken on a lot of weight. Applications, data, and so on that are part of cloud native systems need to run on multiple clouds, public and private clouds, at the edge, on-prem, you name it. And it's complicated, in a word, and Nutanix reports that 60% of enterprises run multiple IT infrastructures. So it does indeed get complicated. Our guest today, Deepak Goel from Nutanix, is going to join us to talk about the complexity of today's cloud-native environments and deployments, and is how to make things easier. Welcome, Deepak.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about what Nutanix does?
Yeah, so Nutanix pioneered the concept of hyperconverge. Mm-hmm. That was their innovation to the market, where what they did was they brought the compute and storage together and created a fabric of servers to provide the reason they call it hyperconverge is because the compute and storage were put together into a single platform. As compared to the three-tier, where prior to this concept, the storage used to be a separate from compute, right? And from there, they started a decade back. And from there, they have grown into a full platform today, which can run both VMs, virtual machine, and containers on a cloud platform, they call it, right? Which offers services just like any other public cloud, but on-prem, right? So on-prem, hybrid, multi-cloud. So they've really expanded from that storage company to now both storage, compute, and then AI on top of it.
And so it sounds like they've evolved right alongside cloud native as it's evolved. What are the challenges? Let's just jump in. What are some of the challenges that enterprises in particular face in when they have complex cloud native deployments, and they're maybe deploying on more than one cloud or more than one in more than one environment?
Yeah, I mean there are many, but probably I'll highlight few. One is, as you started this conversation, is the operational complexity, right? Cloud native is new. The operations are new and complex. Like the concept is new. There's even it is a decade-old technology. These surveys after surveys, CNCF surveys have revealed that organization has skill gaps. Right, the workforce that they have been working on the infrastructure side for a long time, is yet to gain expertise on cloud native and Kubernetes in particular. So that's one of the major problems. Then the other one is, of course, moving the workloads from their existing pattern, which is mainly virtual machines, legacy workloads, to cloud native platform, which is microservice-based. And the third one is, while this transition is happening, how do you run a virtual machine-based workloads alongside with containers? Because these are two different platforms, often run in silos. And so for an IT administration, this becomes really challenging, given that all the things that I've said, like it's a different mode of operation, it needs a different learning curve, that's a steep learning curve.
Right.
And on top of that, you're dealing with a variant in workload, coupled with, as you mentioned in the starting, coupled with the infrastructure, various infrastructure in which you have to deploy. There are cloud environments where you need to deploy, and there are also three different, many other clouds, and each of them operates very differently from the other. Then you have on-prem deployments, and then you have a hybrid one. So added all this really leads to the complexity of the environment.
And what are some of the ways people have tried to overcome that complexity?
Yeah, so in terms of like skill gaps, they've tried to formulate a group of experts within the organization, and we often refer to them as platform engineers, which is slightly different than the infrastructure engineers,
Right.
because now they handle Kubernetes platform, so that they develop deeper expertise into cloud native and Kubernetes platform and supplement the infrastructure team. Sometimes they are two different teams, sometimes it's part of the same team. So that's one of the way people have tried to handle the skill gaps.
Right.
The other one is adopting platforms which does things for the organization that is not their primary focus. Taking the heavy lifting, moving the heavy lifting from individuals to platform. We call them internal developer platforms, which does, for example, observability, monitoring, security, taken care, so
Right.
that the organization can focus on their own business applications, right? And then basically unifying or finding a platform that can unify their VM-based workloads and container workloads. These are some of the ways that, and this conference really helps them to figure out what are these platforms that can really bring down their operational burden.
How has the emergence of AI tooling impacted the complexity when it comes to where workloads run?
Yeah, that's a really nice question, because we are in this AI world now, where AI has really shown promises to some of the challenges that cloud native was facing, which is like the skill gaps, how to like secure your environment, how do you do the observability. So you see a lot of projects are spinning up right now, like for example AI assisted coding, which is helping developers to develop microservice-based applications. In fact, AI also assists in like configurations. You see AI assisted resource management, AI assisted observability. I even say that the traditional way of observing through dashboards is old now. The new way is the AI is taking care of some of the system level anomalies and fixing them, right? So LLMs, Gen AI, and especially agentic AI has shown promises where the administrator doesn't really have to learn the commands or instructions, as long as they understand at the functionality level what they want to achieve. They can provide this in the plain English, and then this AI would convert them into specific commands and execute them, right? So as I said, yeah, the complexity of the system could really be handled by AI. So it's very promising to see that. Now, how successful it is, time will tell us.
That's yeah. It does seem like it's early in that whole movement, and I feel like this conference, we're hearing more about AI, how AI can work with Kubernetes, how AI can fix problems on its own and so forth, as opposed to, I think, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was more about coding assistance,
Right.
on the front
Right.
on the front end. Are there how is Nutanix addressing some of these challenges?
Yeah. So the first challenge, Nutanix, as I said, Nutanix has pioneered the concept of hyperconverged. So it has always seen compute and storage as single unit. We are bringing all the decade learning of handling the storage, protecting stateful applications, which were traditionally be running in VMs, to containers.
Right.
For example, disaster recovery, how to provide resiliency to all these cloud native applications. Secondly, it is helping to converge onto a single platform the VMs and containers, because frankly, if you see them, they both are computes, and they both need almost the same auxiliary functions. For example, networking, storage, security. So if we can consolidate the management or unify the management of VMs and containers, then we will decouple ourselves from the transition time from VM to container. Our organization will get a breather that they don't have to do it overnight. They can take their time, maybe leave their legacy application running in VMs where they suit this well, and newer applications running in container, but they're still running on the same platform. So the unified platform for managing the both. That's where Nutanix is heading towards. And it's not so much about, hey, you need to move your workloads. Let them run where their suits best, and we provide an operational model which will lessen your operation complexity.
Okay. Are there new features that Nutanix has announced recently, or is about to announce, or
Yeah, we just released our one of the product called NDK, which is Nutanix Data for Kubernetes 2.0, which brings in the advanced data protection functionality. For example, sync replication, async replication, that really helps to make your cluster disaster or fault tolerant and make that cluster resilient. The other thing is we are heavily going deep into the security, because now as more and more organizations are adopting Kubernetes and cloud native, security is paramount.
Right.
And so we have recently announced our partnership with Canonical to provide secure OS. So we provide out of the box secure hardened operating system for our customers, on which they can run Kubernetes. And then there are a bunch of security hardening that we do, which is FIPS compliance, SIG compliance for the application that run on top of our platform.
How did Nutanix select that partner for?
That's a good question.
Okay.
So we are all open source. So we prefer open source first, and then look for an enterprise that can support that open source project. So Ubuntu comes to mind when it comes to like Linux distribution as an open source component. It really has a good market share, and Canonical is the enterprise that supports Ubuntu. So that was the direction that led to that partnership.
What's on the roadmap for Nutanix that you can give us hints about?
So it's really about, so one piece that I didn't touch is Nutanix is that AI is there everywhere. So we are also embracing AI into our stack wholeheartedly, which means that whatever it takes to run two things, using AI into our stack to things that we have talked in the past to bring down the operational complexity, but also how to offer AI as a service, like for example GPU as a service or inferencing as a service on top of our platform, right? As we said, we'll see where this thing is going, but looks like that's where the future lies.
Okay, well that sounds like a good place to wrap up. I just want to thank today's guest, Deepak Goel, for joining us. Thank you, from Nutanix. Thank you for joining us, Deepak.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, and I want to thank all of you for joining us for this conversation. And this has been Heather Joslin for the New Stack Makers on the road at KubeCon in Atlanta. We'll see you next time.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on all the major social media platforms. You can always find us at thenewstack.io. We hope to see you soon.